Tyranny is expanding. Tyranny is moving against free speech because it cannot coexist with a free, open society.
Just for the benefit of anybody who's not familiar with Alex Jones and InfoWars, we've seen Trump both retweeting things kind of straight out of the InfoWars world and Alex Jones. What is InfoWars and Alex Jones, and why is Donald Trump taking pages out of their playbook?
Well, it's a website. It's really one of the darkest corners of the media online, if you want to call it that. They don't do traditional journalism, but they spread a lot of theories.
The radio host, Alex Jones, who claims that 9/11 and the Oklahoma City bombings were inside jobs.
Jones has frequently promoted toxic conspiracy theories that sometimes take on lives of their own.
Again, you can see the unedited version of the character assassination of Alex Jones on Adam Green's excellent channel. But I decided to intersperse throughout this video just several points to see if the viewer can pick up on the blatant propaganda. By the way, this is only a small sampling that you're seeing of the attacks. NPR attacks me every couple hours. They've got surrogate Democratic Party operatives all over local news attacking me. It is a full-out assault on the threat. They know that I'm aware of their program. I'm using their own documents, their own statements against them, and they want to take down the news source that is hurting them the most. That's why it's more important than ever that you spread the word about Infowars.com, our articles, our videos, our information, because it is the equivalent of high noon to these psychic cultural vampires.
I don't know what happens in somebody's mind or how dark their heart must be to say things like that. But Trump doesn't challenge these lies. He actually went on Jones's show and said, "Your reputation is amazing. I will not let you down."
InfoWars is the conspiracy theory mega website where the dimmer bulbs among us have long gone to get themselves brightened up without benefit of a surge protector.
No one blows lid quite like host of InfoWars, Trump advisor, and alien Sasquatch love child, Alex P. Jones.
The captain of America's conspiracy theory mothership, Alex Jones.
A guy named Alex Jones, who I happen to find very entertaining. He's one of those guys who believes Bigfoot was responsible for 9/11. He believes everything.
InfoWars host Alex Jones, the liar-in-chief, the self-described libertarian, traffics in disinformation and unfounded innuendo. The Southern Poverty Law Center has called him the most prolific conspiracy theorist in contemporary America, and that's saying something.
Notice they use terms like liar in chief when it's known that Obama has been caught lying to the American people over and over and over again about Obamacare, about wars, about borders. It's critical to understand that the predators of mainstream media, of fake news, are preying on an audience that they believe is unconscious and stupid. Here's a great example of it. Not just in these TV pieces, but all over newspapers that I see every day. They show photos from Cleveland, Ohio at the RNC, where the state police pulled me out of a crowd when communists were viciously attacking me and protected me and got me to my car. But all over the news, they keep showing images of this, implying I'm a criminal, making it look like I was being taken into police custody. The overt message, not just subliminal, is Alex Jones is dangerous and needs to be arrested.
Well, Alex Jones is someone who's one of the chief conspiracy theorists on the far right. Trump went on his show during the campaign and talked about how Alex Jones enjoyed a wonderful reputation.
Alex Jones, he is this amazing showman.
They hate you. They hate prosperity. They hate God. They hate children. And goddamn them to hell.
He cries. He yells. He growls. He has this incredible gravelly voice.
We're gonna beat your ass.
He's a quite arresting media figure, and he is thumbing his nose at the mainstream media, which he considers to be pawns of a global elite that he's very suspicious of and that he suspects is bent on world domination. In the process of making these allegations, he has thrown out some pretty remarkable claims.
There's no end to it with Alex. He's a serial liar. He doesn't care about the truth at all.
No, more importantly, he doesn't care about the safety and well-being of fellow Americans.
Alex Jones is a lunatic. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. The guy's an absolute lunatic.
What's the goal here with these
people? The goal is to undermine the credibility of institutions. This is a guy Donald Trump had traffic with. This is a guy that General Flynn's son retweeted copiously. So essentially what this is you undermine these institutions, you cast doubt on everything, mainstream media, all the institutions in the country, and then you get to get your fame and following.
When you look under the name, who is this person? When it says New York Times, it says Washington Post. That's what it means. Journalist, reporter. When it says Democratic strategist or whatever, or advocate or surrogate, you see who's talking.
The Southern Poverty Law Center concludes that Jones appeals to right-wing extremists. The center studies hate groups.
He's, in a way, the gateway drug to white supremacy in the United States.
Alex Jones, the conservative conspiracy theorist and operator of the website InfoWars, which seems to be a place where Trump gets a lot of his information.
This is the man who's going to be president of the United States, following InfoWars, talking about which
I don't know anything.
It was an inside job.
Right. I don't know anything about InfoWars.
Does it scare you that the president-elect is listening to InfoWars?
Right.
I am not here to vouch for InfoWars. I don't listen to InfoWars.
Right, but the president-elect seems to.
Right.
They're attacking us on CBS News, ABC, NBC, CNN, MSNBC every hour. I mean, it's so bad, it's good. Because their dwindling audiences are only going to come to Infowars.com, and our numbers are just continuing to rise, dwarfing CNN, dwarfing the New York Times online. They say it's time to censor the media, and it's time to shut down Infowars and Alex Jones. They're really on TV because we've kicked their butts and proven they're the fake news, saying censor us.
Lately, there's been a lot of coverage in the real news about the growing and booming business of creating fake news.
President Obama called the spread of fake news online a threat to democracy. Facebook and other social media sites are being criticized for not doing enough to stop bogus stories that seem to dominate the election cycle.
Remember, this is the mainstream media that got caught in thousands of emails from MSNBC to CNN to Newsweek to the Daily Beast to the Daily Show, having their scripts approved by the Clinton campaign, by the Ford Foundation, and by George Soros. And now they're sitting around attacking us, saying we're the fake news when they have the history of lying in polls, you name it.
A series of fake news stories and unproven conspiracy theories surrounding Hillary Clinton have persisted on social media since before Election Day.
There's so much fake news out there. The fake news is having such an influence on our lives that today, and this is true, Pope Francis said media that focus on scandals and spread fake news to smear politicians risk becoming like people who have a morbid fascination with excrement.
But see, Colbert thinks you're dumb. He thinks you don't know that he got caught working directly with Hillary and Podesta approving the scripts. But it gets worse. Hillary minions and operatives got caught in the WikiLeaks creating completely fake news stories and narratives, and MSNBC and others follow their orders to a T.
Fake news played a role in this election and continues to find a wide audience.
Well, this is just the latest episode in the damaging influence of fake news, a false conspiracy theory, well, all conspiracy theories are false, about Hillary Clinton.
I'm not concerned about the conspiracy theories. There are so many of them, I've lost track of them. And so I pay no attention to them.
Conspiracy theory machine factory.
Do you actually have people with college degrees who read these fake news stories and these conspiracy theories and then call all of us up? Is this true?
And young people
Is that true?
differentiate.
No. Is that true? You know, after about the 20th, I'm like, no, stop.
Part of the reason why we're so susceptible to conspiracy theories right now is that guys like Alex Jones make a ton of money circulating them as widely as they possibly can. They use multiple platforms. They use talk radio and the internet, and they live stream their kind of fake TV shows, and they make a very good living doing it.
When will Alex Jones lose credibility?
Well,
when is
there's
it
an
going to
audience.
happen?
There's an
Huffington
audience for
Post?
Alex Jones. Alex Jones has been around forever. I'm assuming he will be around forever. Usually this kind of stuff has no major effect on the United States of America other than lowering our median IQ a couple of points and making us seem slightly more embarrassing on an international stage. Right, for every additional year they circulate their insane alien lizard people theories of everything, we get a little bit dumber, and that's the major effect it has on the United States of America. But this year is different, because this year, that little corner, that little niche of organized and profitable American insanity, this year, they're out of their corner because this year they're presidential politics.
He doesn't care that some crazy, unstable, unhinged person is going to listen to his ridiculous garbage show and believe whatever conspiracy theories he's pushing out there and go out and actually take action. I don't care about his ridiculous rinky-dink show or the conspiracy theory circle jerk he and his friends engage in on a daily basis. But what I do care about is if it literally has an impact on people's lives and could lead to people getting murdered. That's when I care.
The epidemic of malicious fake news and false propaganda that flooded social media over the past year, it's now clear that so-called fake news can have real-world consequences. This isn't about politics or partisanship. Lives are at risk. Lives of ordinary people just trying to go about their days, to do their jobs, contribute to their communities. It's a danger that must be addressed, and addressed quickly.
It's not hard to stop this fake news. No. If you're Google or if you're Facebook.
It's time for these isolated know-it-alls in the Silicon Valley at Google and Facebook to get this stuff together on things like this.
They have to have some sort of
First Amendment, we all live within the First Amendment.
New world.
We don't want to tamper with the First Amendment, but there's something askew here that has to be looked at.
They get caught red-handed in basically organized fraud, racketeering against the American people, and they turn the whole thing around to quote fake news and how they want to censor the free press in this country. This is simply amazing. As we speak, they're trying to line up electors who are pledged to their state's voters and have them overturn it for Hillary Clinton. They're talking about how I want civil unrest, how I'm stirring up violence, when they're the ones in Newsweek and the New York Times and the LA Times allowing their writers to call for riots in the streets, civil disobedience, and the murder of the 45th president of the United States. More fake news from a pack of lying scum.
So WikiLeaks, Alex Jones, and these subreddit subgeniuses, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, grow the up.
Alex Jones.
From InfoWars.
From InfoWars.
Yeah.
He's on a war against info. So
He's so against a war. He's so on a war against info. He doesn't want to know about the nation. Don't care about the nation.
He doesn't want any nation. Just the info.
You just had to keep digging, didn't you, Alex? You just couldn't stop, but it stops now because I'm afraid this little game is over, Alex. Now that you had to go and open your big mouth, I have no choice but to kill these pickles. The juice of these pickles is on you, Alex Jones. You say, the New World Order sends its regards.
In closing, let's talk about the elephant in the room here. Hundreds of thousands of emails were released. Tens of thousands of them were every mainstream media channel you can imagine talking about deceiving the public, talking about how they were hacks and saying, just give me orders, I'll lie. These very people have now been promoted from Politico to the New York Times because they're liars, because they're deceivers. 3 years ago, the Congress in the National Defense Authorization Act repealed the law that had been on the books for decades, barring the CIA and other agencies from engaging in domestic propaganda and disinformation. Over the weekend, they passed the Countering Disinformation and Propaganda Act that funds $160+ million to this new organization that will, quote, discover and counter with its own disinformation alternative media that they dub fake news. At the very same time, we see mainstream media claiming that Trump, myself, Tucker Carlson, you name it, are Russian agents, and that the American people really wanted Hillary Clinton, but the Russians somehow hacked in, and that's why Trump won. Yes, we've gotten Trump elected, but they're openly trying to overthrow that.